पूर्ण करत सबके काम,
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 पूर्ण करत सबके काम।
राम राम सीता राम,
राम राम सीता राम,
राम राम सीता राम। श्यावर रामचंद्र की
जय।
हरे रामा राम रामा हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे रामा राम रामा हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे रामा राम रामा हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे रामा राम रामा हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, श्यावर रामचंद्र की राधावर कृष्णचंद्र की। जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम।
बोलो राम 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 सीता राम,
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 बोलो राम 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 सीता राम।
जय सिया राम, जय जय सिया राम,
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 बोलो राम 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 राजा राम,
बोलो राम
सिया राम जय जय सिया राम
जय सिया राम जय जय सिया राम
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 जय सिया राम श्री सियावर रामचंद्र की सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की कृष्ण कृष्ण मुकुंदा जनार्दना कृष्ण कृष्ण लावले कृष्ण कृष्ण मुकुंदा जनार्दना कृष्ण गोविंद नारायण हरे
गोविंद नारायण हरे
कृष्ण गोविंद नारायण हरे
गोविंद नारायण हरे
कृष्ण कृष्ण मुकुंदा जनार्दना
कृष्ण कृष्ण मुकुंद जनार्दना
कृष्ण गोविंद नारायण हरे
कृष्ण गोविंद नारायण हरे
अच्युतानंद गोविंद माधवा
अच्युतानंद गोविंद माधवा
अच्युतानंद गोविंद माधवा
अच्युतानंद गोविंद माधवा
सच्चिदानंद नारायण हरे
सच्चिदानंद नारायण हरे
सच्चिदानंद नारायण हरे
सच्चिदानंद नारायण हरे
कृष्ण कृष्ण मुकुंदा जनार्दना कृष्ण कृष्ण मुकुंदा
जनार्दना
कृष्ण कृष्ण मुकुंदा जनार्दना
कृष्ण कृष्ण मुकुंद जनार्दना
कृष्ण गोविंद नारायण हरे
गोविंद नारायण हरे
कृष्ण गोविंद नारायण हरे
गोविंद नारायण हरे
अच्युतानंद गोविंद माधवा
अच्युतानंद गोविंद माधवा
अच्युतानंद गोविंद माधवा
अच्युतानंद गोविंद माधवा
सच्चिदानंद नारायण हरे
सच्चिदानंद नारायण हरे
सच्चिदानंद नारायण हरे
सच्चिदानंद नारायण हरे
कृष्ण कृष्ण मुकुंदा जनार्दना
कृष्ण कृष्ण मुकुंद जनार्दना
कृष्ण कृष्ण मुकुंदा जनार्दना
कृष्ण कृष्ण मुकुंद जनार्दना
कृष्ण गोविंद नारायण हरे
कृष्ण गोविंद नारायण हरे
कृष्ण गोविंद नारायण हरे
गोविंद नारायण हरे
कृष्ण गोविंद नारायण हरे
गोविंद नारायण हरे
कृष्ण गोविंद नारायण हरे
गोविंद नारायण
हरे श्री कृष्णचंद्र भगवान की
जय
Hari Om everyone. Can you all hear me and see me clearly? Awesome. Today we will be looking at Bhagavatam after the Lalita Sahasranama chanting, where in the 12th chapter, Dhruv Maharaj attains to the highest state or status that any bhakta has ever achieved. How that transformation happens and how he achieves it in one lifetime. Bhagwan had already blessed him that will be such a higher state that there is nothing else to compare with, and it shall be called by his name alone. So it is called the Dhruvapadam. That Dhruvapada, Dhruva attains in this 12th chapter. Very beautiful, bhakti soaking chapter. Definitely looking forward for it. So let us begin with the invocation and then Lalita Sahasranama. Then we will get into Bhagavatam. Hope and pray that all of you are doing well and keeping safe. Let us begin. ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः Let us begin. ॐ ऐं ह्रीं श्रीं सिन्दूरारुणविग्रहां त्रिनयनां माणिक्यमौलिस्फुरत् तारानायकशेखरां स्मितमुखीमापीनवक्षोरुहां पाणिभ्यां मलिपूर्णरत्नचषकं रक्तोत्पलं बिभ्रतीं सौम्यां रत्नघटस्थरक्तचरणां ध्यायेत् परामम्बिकाम् अरुणां करुणातरङ्गिताक्षीं धृतपाशाङ्कुशपुष्पबाणचापाम् अणिमादिभिरावृतां मयूखैः अहमित्येव विभावये भवानीं ध्यायेत् पद्मासनस्थां विकसितवदनां पद्मपत्रायताक्षीं हेमाभां पीतवस्त्रां करकलितलसद्धेमपद्मां वराङ्गीम् सर्वालङ्कारयुक्तां सततमभयदां भक्तनम्रां भवानीं श्रीविद्यां शान्तमूर्तिं सकलसुरनुतां सर्वसम्पत्प्रदात्रीं सकुङ्कुमविलेपनामलिकचुम्बिकस्तूरिकां समन्दहसितेक्षणां सशरचापपाशाङ्कुशाम् अशेषजनमोहिनीमरुणमाल्यभूषाम्बरां जपाकुसुमभासुरां जपविधौ स्मरेदम्बिकाम् ॐ श्रीमाता श्रीमहाराज्ञी श्रीमत्सिंहासनेश्वरी चिदग्निकुण्डसम्भूता देवकार्यसमुद्यता उद्यद्भानुसहस्राभा चतुर्बाहुसमन्विता रागस्वरूपपाषाढ्या क्रोधाकाराङ्कुशोज्ज्वला मनोरूपेक्षुकोदण्डा पञ्चतन्मात्रसायका निजारुणप्रभापूरमज्जद्ब्रह्माण्डमण्डला चम्पकाशोकपुन्नागसौगन्धिकलसत्कचा कुरुविन्दमणिश्रेणी कनत्कोटीरमण्डिता अष्टमी चन्द्रविभ्राजदलिकस्थलशोभिता मुखचन्द्रकलङ्काभा मृगनाभिविशेषका वदनस्मरमाङ्गल्य गृहतोरणचिल्लिका वक्त्रलक्ष्मी परिवाह चलन्मीनाभलोचना नवचंपकपुष्पाभा नासादण्डविराजिता ताराकान्तितिरस्कारी नासाभरणभासुरा कदम्बमञ्जरी क्लुप्तकर्णपूरमनोहरा ताटङ्कयुगलीभूततपनोडुपमण्डला पद्मरागशिलादर्शपरिभाविकपोलभूः नवविद्रुमबिम्बश्रीनक्कारिरदनच्छदा शुद्धविद्याङ्कुराकारा द्विजपङ्क्तिद्वयोज्ज्वला कर्पूरवीटिकामोदसमाकर्षिदिगन्तरा निजसल्लापमाधुर्य विनिर्भत्सितकच्छपी मन्दस्मितप्रभापूरा मज्जत्कामेशमानसा अनाकलितसादृश्य चिबुकश्रीविराजिता कामेशबद्धमाङ्गल्य सूत्रशोभितकन्धरा कनकाङ्गदकेयूरकमनीयभुजान्विता रत्नग्रैवेयचिन्ताकलोलमुक्ता फलान्विता कामेश्वरप्रेमरत्नपणिप्रतिपनस्तनी नाभ्यालवालरोमाली लताफलकुचद्वयी लक्षरोमलताधारतासमुन्नेयमध्यमा स्तनभारदलन्मध्यपट्टबन्धवलित्रया अरुणारुणकौसुम्भवस्त्रभास्वत्कटीतटी रत्नकिङ्किणिकारम्या रशनादामभूषिता कामेशज्ञातसौभाग्यमार्दवोरुद्वयान्विता माणिक्यमुकुटाकारजानुद्वयविराजिता इन्द्रकोपपरिक्षिप्तस्मरत्तूर्णाभजङ्गिका गूढगुल्फा कूर्मपृष्ठा जयिष्णुप्रपदान्विता नखदीदिति सञ्चन्ना नमज्जनतमो गुणा पदद्वयप्रभाजालपराकृसरोरुहा सिञ्जानमणिमञ्जीरमण्डितश्रीपदाम्बुजा मरालीमन्दगमना महालावण्यशेवदिः सर्वारुणानवद्याङ्गी सर्वाभरणभूषिता शिवकामेश्वराङ्कस्था शिवा स्वाधीनवल्लभा सुमेरुमध्यशृङ्गस्था श्रीमन्नगरनायिका चिन्तामणिगृहान्तस्थ पञ्चब्रह्मासनस्थिता महापद्माटवीसंस्थकदम्बवनवासिनी सुधासागराध्यस्था कामाक्षी कामदायिनी देवर्षिगणसङ्घातस्तूयमानात्मवैभवा भण्डासुरवधोद्युक्ता शक्तिसेनासमन्विता सम्पत्करी समारूढसिन्धुरव्रजसेविता अश्वारूढाधिष्ठिताश्वकोटिकोटिभिरावृता चक्रराजरथारूढा सर्वायुधपरिष्कृता गेयचक्ररथारूढा मन्त्रिणी परिसेविता किरिचक्ररथारूढा दण्डनाथा पुरस्कृता ज्वालामालिनिकाक्षिप्तवह्निप्राकारमध्यगा भण्डसैन्यवदोद्युक्ता शक्तिविक्रमहर्षिता नित्या पराक्रमाटोपा निरीक्षणसमुत्सुका भण्डपुत्रवदोद्युक्ता बाला विक्रमनन्दिता मन्त्रिण्यम्बा विरचिता विषङ्गवदतोषिता विशुक्रप्राणहरणा वाराही वीर्यनन्दिता कामेश्वरमुखालोककल्पितश्रीगणेश्वरा महागणेशनिर्भिन्न विघ्नयन्त्रप्रहर्षिता भण्डासुरेन्द्रनिर्मुक्ता शस्त्रप्रत्यस्त्रवर्षिणी कराङ्गुलिनखोत्पन्ना नारायणदशाकृतिः महापाशुपतास्त्राग्निर्दग्धासुरसैनिका कामेश्वरास्त्रनिर्दग्धा सभण्डासुरशून्यका ब्रह्मोपेन्द्रमहेन्द्रादि देवसंस्तुतवैभवा हरनेत्राग्निसन्दग्धा कामसञ्जीवनौषधिः श्रीमद्वाग्भवकूटैका स्वरूपमुखपङ्कजा कण्ठादक्कटिपर्यन्त मध्यकूटस्वरूपिणी शक्तिकूटैकतापन्ना कट्यदोभागधारिणी मूलमन्त्रात्मिका मूलकूटत्रयकलेवरा कुलामृतैकरसिका कुलसङ्केतपालिनी कुलाङ्गना कुलान्तस्था कौलिनी कुलयोगिनी अकुलासमयान्तस्था समयाचारतत्परा मूलाधारैकनिलया ब्रह्मग्रन्थिविभेदिनी मणिपूरान्तरुदिता विष्णुग्रन्थिविभेदिनी आज्ञाचक्रान्तरालस्था रुद्रग्रन्थिविभेदिनी सहस्राराम्बुजारूढा सुधासाराभिवर्षिणी तडिल्लता समरुचिः षट्चक्रोपरि संस्थिता महाशक्तिः कुण्डलिनी विसतन्तुतनीयसी भवानी भावनागम्या भवारण्यकुठारिका भद्रप्रिया भद्रमूर्तिर्भक्तसौभाग्यदायिनी भक्तिप्रिया भक्तिगम्या भक्तिवश्या भयापहा शाम्भवी शारदाराध्या शर्वाणी शर्मदायिनी शाङ्करी श्रीकरी साध्वी शरच्चन्द्रनिभानना शातोदरी शान्तिमती निराधारा निरञ्जना निर्लेपा निर्मला नित्या निराकारा निराकुला निर्गुणा निष्कला शान्ता निष्कामा निरुपप्लवा नित्यमुक्ता निर्विकारा निष्प्रपञ्चा निराश्रया नित्यशुद्धा नित्यबुद्धा निरवध्या निरन्तरा निष्कारणा निष्कलङ्का निरुपाधिर्निरीश्वरा नीरागारागमथनी निर्मदा मदनाशिनी निश्चिन्ता निरहङ्कारा निर्मोहा मोहनाशिनी निर्ममा ममताहन्त्री निष्पापा पापनाशिनी निष्क्रोधा क्रोधशमनी निर्लोभा लोभनाशिनी निस्संशया संशयग्नि निर्भवा भवनाशिनी निर्विकल्पा निराबाधा निर्भेदा भेदनाशिनी निर्नाशा मृत्युमथनी निष्क्रिया निष्परिग्रहा निस्तुला नीलचिकुरा निरपाया निरत्यया दुर्लभा दुर्गमा दुर्गा दुःखहन्त्री सुखप्रदा दुष्टदूरा दुराचार शमनी दोषवर्जिता सर्वज्ञा सान्द्रकरुणा समानाधिकवर्जिता सर्वशक्तिमयी सर्वमङ्गला सद्गतिप्रदा सर्वेश्वरी सर्वमयी सर्वमन्त्रस्वरूपिणी सर्वयन्त्रात्मिका सर्वतन्त्ररूपा मनोन्मनी माहेश्वरी महादेवी महालक्ष्मीर्मुडप्रिया महारूपा महापूज्या महापातकनाशिनी महामाया महासत्वा महाशक्तिर्महारतिः महाभोगा महेश्वर्या महावीर्या महाबला महाबुद्धिर्महासिद्धिर्महायोगेश्वरेश्वरी महातंत्रा महामंत्रा महायंत्रा महासना महायागक्रमाराध्या महाभैरवपूजिता महेश्वर महाकल्प महातांडवसाक्षिणी महाकामेश महिषी महात्रिपुरसुंदरी चतुष्षष्टुपचाराढ्या चतुष्षष्टिकलामयी महाचतुष्षष्टिकोटि योगिनी गणसेविता मनुविद्या चंद्रविद्या चंद्रमंडलमध्यगा चारुरूपा चारुहास चारुचंद्रकलाधरा चराचर जगन्नाथा चक्रराजनिकेतना पार्वती पद्मनयना पद्मराग समप्रभा पंचप्रेतासनासीना पंचब्रह्मस्वरूपिणी चिन्मयी परमानंद विज्ञान घनरूपिणी ध्यानध्यात्रध्येय रूपा धर्माधर्म विवर्जिता विश्वरूपा जागरिणी स्वपंती तैजसात्मिका सुप्ता प्राज्ञात्मिका तुर्या सर्वावस्था विवर्जिता सृष्टिकर्त्री ब्रह्मरूपा गोप्त्री गोविंदरूपिणी संहारिणी रुद्ररूपा तिरोधानकरीश्वरी सदाशिवानुग्रहदा पंचकृत्यपरायणा भानुमंडल मध्यस्था भैरवी भगमालिनी पद्मासना भगवती पद्मनाभ सहोदरी उन्मेष निमिषोत्पन्न विपन्न भुवनावली सहस्रशीर्षवदना सहस्राक्षी सहस्रपात आब्रह्मकीट जननी वर्णाश्रम विदायिनी निजाज्ञारूप निगमा पुण्या पुण्यफलप्रदा श्रुति सीमंत सिंदूरी कृतपादाब्जधूलिका सकलागम संदोह शुक्ति संपुट मुक्तिका पुरुषार्थप्रदा पूर्णा भोगिनी भुवनेश्वरी अंबिकानादि निधना हरिब्रह्मेन्द्र सेविता नारायणी नादरूपा नामरूप विवर्जिता ह्रींकारी ह्रीमती हृदया हेयोपादेयवर्जिता राजराजार्चिता राज्ञी रम्या राजीवलोचना रंजनी रमणीरस्य रणत्किङ्किणीमेखला रमा राकेन्दुवदना रतिरूपा रतिप्रिया रक्षाकरी राक्षसग्नि रामा रमणलम्पटा काम्या कामकलारूपा कदम्बकुसुमप्रिया कल्याणी जगती कंदा करुणा रससागरा कलावती कलालापा कांता कादंबरी प्रिया वरदावा मनयना वारुणी मदविह्वला विश्वादिका वेदवेद्या विंध्याचल निवासिनी क्षेत्रस्वरूपा क्षेत्रेशी क्षेत्र क्षेत्रज्ञपालिनी क्षय वृद्धि विनिर्मुक्ता क्षेत्रपाल समर्चिता विजया विमला वंद्या वंदारुजनवत्सला वाग्वादिनी वामकेशी वह्निमण्डलवासिनी भक्तिमत्कल्पलतिका पशुपाश विमोचनी संहृता शेषपाषण्ड सदाचार प्रवर्तिका तापत्रयाग्निसंतप्ता समाह्लादन चंद्रिका तरुणी तापसाराध्या तनुमध्या तमोपहा चितिस्तत्पदलक्ष्यार्था चिदेकरसरूपिणी स्वात्मानन्दलवीभूता ब्रह्माद्यानन्दसन्ततिः परा प्रत्यक्षितिरूपा पश्यन्ती परदेवता मध्यमा वैखरी रूपा भक्तमानसहंसिका कामेश्वर प्राणनाडी कृतज्ञा कामपूजिता श्रृंगार रस संपूर्णा जया जालंधर स्थिता ओड्यानपीठ निलया बिंदुमंडलवासिनी रहो यागक्रमाराध्या रहस्तर्पणतर्पिता सद्य प्रसादिनी विश्वसाक्षिणी साक्षिवर्जिता षडंग देवतायुक्ता षाड्गुण्य परिपूरिता नित्यक्लिन्ना निरुपमा निर्वाण सुखदायिनी नित्या षोडशिका रूपा श्रीकंठार्धशरीरिणी प्रभावती प्रभा रूपा प्रसिद्धा परमेश्वरी मूल प्रकृतिरव्यक्ता व्यक्ता व्यक्तस्वरूपिणी व्यापिनी विविधाकारा विद्या विद्यास्वरूपिणी महाकामेश नयना कुमुदाह्लाद कौमुदी भक्तहार्दतमोभेद भानुमद्भानुसन्ततिः शिवदूती शिवाराध्या शिवमूर्तिर्शिवङ्करी शिवप्रिया शिवपरा शिष्टेष्टा शिष्टपूजिता अप्रमेया स्वप्रकाशा मनोवाचामगोचरा चिच्चक्तिश्चेतना रूपा जडशक्तिर्जडात्मिका गायत्री व्याहृति संध्या द्विजबृंद निषेविता तत्त्वासना तत्त्वमयी पंचकोशान्तरस्थिता निस्सीममहिमा नित्ययौवनामदशालिनी मदघूर्णितरक्ताक्षी मदपाटलगन्धभूः चन्दनद्रवदिग्धाङ्गी चाम्पेयकुसुमप्रिया कुशला कौमलाकारा कुरुकुल्लाकुलेश्वरी कुलकुण्डालया कौलमार्गतत्परसेविता कुमारगणनाथाम्बा तुष्टिपुष्टिर्मतिर्धृतिः शान्तिस्वस्तिमती कान्तिर्नन्दिनी विघ्ननाशिनी तेजोवती धृतिनयना लोलाक्षी कामरूपिणी मालिनी हंसिनी माता मलयाचलवासिनी सुमुखी नलिनी शुभ्रुशोभना सुरनायिका कालकंठी कांतिमती क्षोभिणी सूक्ष्मरूपिणी वज्रेश्वरी वामदेवी वयोवस्था विवर्जिता सिद्धेश्वरी सिद्धविद्या सिद्धमाता यशस्विनी विशुद्धिचक्रनिलया रक्तवर्णा त्रिलोचना खट्वांगादिप्रहरणा वदनैकसमन्विता पायसान्नप्रिया त्वक्स्था पशुलोकभयङ्करी अमृतादिमहाशक्तिः संवृता डाकिनीश्वरी अनाहताब्जनिलया श्यामा भावदनद्वया दंष्टोज्ज्वलाक्षमालादिधरा रुधिरसंस्थिता कालरात्र्यादिशक्तियोगा वृता स्निग्धौधनप्रिया महावीरेन्द्रवरदा राकिन्यम्बास्वरूपिणी मणिपूराब्जनिलया वदनत्रयसंयुता वज्रादिकायुधोपेता डामर्यादिभिरावृता रक्तवर्णा मां सनिष्ठा गुडान्न प्रीतमानसा समस्तभक्तसुखदा लाकिन्यम्बास्वरूपिणी स्वाधिष्ठानाम्बुजगता चतुर्वक्त्र मनोहरा शूलाद्यायुधसम्पन्ना पीतवर्णातिगर्विता मेदोनिष्ठा मधुप्रीता बन्दिन्यादिसमन्विता दध्यन्नासक्त हृदया काकिनी रूपधारिणी मूलाधाराम्बुजारूढ़ा पंचवक्त्रास्ति संस्थिता अंकुशादिप्रहरणा वरदादिनिषेविता मुद्गौदनासक्तचित्ता साकिन्यम्बा स्वरूपिणी आज्ञाचक्राब्जनिलया शुक्लवर्णा षडानना मज्जा संस्था हंसवती मुख्यशक्तिः समन्विता हरिद्रानैकरसिका हाकिनी रूपधारिणी सहस्रदल पद्मस्था सर्ववर्णोपशोभिता सर्वायुधधरा शुक्ला संस्थिता सर्वतोमुखी सर्वौदनप्रीतचित्ता याकिन्यम्बा स्वरूपिणी स्वाहा स्वधामतिर्मेधा श्रुतिस्मृतिरनुत्तमा पुण्यकीर्तिः पुण्यलभ्या पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तना पुलोमजार्चिता बन्धमोचनी बन्धुरालका विमर्शरूपिणी विद्या वेदराजिकत्प्रसूः सर्वव्याधिप्रशमनी सर्वमृत्युनिवारिणी अग्रगण्या चिन्त्यरूपा कलिकल्मषनाशिनी कात्यायनी कालहन्त्री कमलाक्षनिषेविता ताम्बूलपूरितमुखी दाडिमी कुसुमप्रभा मृगाक्षी मोहिनी मुख्या मृडानी मित्ररूपिणी नित्यतृप्ता भक्तनिधिर्नियन्त्री निखिलेश्वरी मैत्र्यादिवासनालभ्या महाप्रलयसाक्षिणी पराशक्तिः परानिष्ठा प्रज्ञानघनरूपिणी माध्वीपानालसामत्ता मातृका वर्णरूपिणी महाकैलासनिलया मृणालमृदुदोर्लता महनीया दयामूर्तिर्महासाम्राज्यशालिनी आत्मविद्या महाविद्या श्रीविद्या कामसेविता श्रीषोडशाक्षरी विद्या त्रिकूटा कामकोटिका कटाक्षकिङ्करीभूता कमला कोटिसेविता शिरस्थिता चन्द्रनिभा भालस्तेन्द्रधनुप्रभा हृदयस्थार विप्रख्या त्रिकोणान्तरदीपिका दाक्षायनी दैत्यहन्त्री दक्षयज्ञविनाशिनी दरान्दोलित दीर्घाक्षी दरहा सोज्ज्वलन्मुखी गुरुमूर्तिर्गुणनिधिर्गोमाता गुहजन्मभूः देवेशी दण्डनीतिस्था दहराकाशरूपिणी प्रतिपन्मुख्यराकान्त तिथिमण्डलपूजिता कलात्मिका कलानाथा काव्यालापा विनोदिनी सचामररमावाणी सव्यदक्षिणसेविता आदिशक्तिरमेयात्मा परमा पावनाकृतिः अनेककोटिब्रह्माण्ड जननी दिव्यविग्रहा क्लीङ्कारी केवला गुह्या कैवल्यपददायिनी त्रिपुराद्रिजगद्वन्द्या त्रिमूर्तिर्सदशेश्वरी त्र्यक्षरी दिव्यगन्धाढ्या सिन्दूरतिलकाञ्चिता उमाशैलेन्द्रतनया गौरी गन्धर्वसेविता विश्वगर्भा स्वर्णगर्भा वरदा वागदीश्वरी ध्यानगम्या परिच्छेद्या ज्ञानदा ज्ञानविग्रहा सर्ववेदान्तसंवेद्या सत्यानन्दस्वरूपिणी लोपामुद्रार्चिता लीला क्लुप्तब्रह्माण्डमण्डला अदृश्यादृश्यरहिता विज्ञात्री वेद्यवर्जिता योगिनी योगदा योग्या योगानंदा युगंधरा इच्छाशक्ति ज्ञानशक्ति क्रियाशक्ति स्वरूपिणी सर्वाधारा सुप्रतिष्ठा सदसद्रूपधारिणी अष्टमूर्तिरजा जैत्री लोकयात्रा विधायिनी एकाकिनी भूमरूपा निर्द्वैताद्वैतवर्जिता अन्नदा वसुधा वृद्धा ब्रह्मात्मैक्यस्वरूपिणी बृहती ब्राह्मिणी ब्राह्मी ब्रह्मानंदावलिप्रिया भाषा रूपा बृहत्सेना भावा भाव विवर्जिता सुखाराध्या शुभकरी शोभना सुलभा गतिः राजराजेश्वरी राज्यदायिनी राज्यवल्लभा राजत्कृपा राजपीठ निवेशित निजाश्रिता राज्यलक्ष्मी कोशनाथा चतुरंगबलेश्वरी साम्राज्यदायिनी सत्यसंधा सागरमेखला दीक्षिता दैत्यशमनी सर्वलोकवशंकरी सर्वार्थदात्री सावित्री सच्चिदानंदरूपिणी देशकाला परिच्छिन्ना सर्वगा सर्वमोहिनी सरस्वती शास्त्रमयी गुहाम्बा गुह्यरूपिणी सर्वोपाधिविनिर्मुक्ता सदाशिवपतिव्रता संप्रदायेश्वरी साध्वी गुरुमण्डलरूपिणी कुलोत्तीर्णा भगाराध्या माया मधुमतीमही गणाम्बा गुह्यकाराध्या कोमलांगी गुरुप्रिया स्वतंत्रा सर्वतंत्रेशी दक्षिणामूर्तिरूपिणी सनकादिसमाराध्या शिवज्ञानप्रदायिनी चित्कलानंदकलिका प्रेमरूपा प्रियंकरी नामपारायण प्रीता नंदी विद्यानठेश्वरी मिथ्या जगदधिष्ठाना मुक्तिदा मुक्तिरूपिणी लास्य प्रिया लयकरी लज्जारंभादिवंदिता भवदा वसुधा वृष्टि पापारण्यदवानला दौर्भाग्यतूल वातूला जराध्वांतर विप्रभा भाग्याब्दिचंद्रिका भक्त चित्तकेकी घना घना रोगपर्वत दंबोलिर्मृत्युदारु कुठारिका महेश्वरी महाकाली महाग्रासा महाशना अपर्णा चंडिका चंडमुंडासुरनिषूदिनी क्षराक्षरात्मिका सर्वलोकेशी विश्वधारिणी त्रिवर्गदात्री सुभगा त्र्यंबका त्रिगुणात्मिका स्वर्गापवर्गदा शुद्धा जपा पुष्पनिभाकृतिः ओजोवती द्युतिधरा यज्ञरूपा प्रियव्रता दुराराध्या दुरादर्शा पाटली कुसुमप्रिया महती मेरुनिलया मंदार कुसुमप्रिया वीराराध्या विराट रूपा विरजा विश्वतोमुखी प्रत्यग्रूपा पराकाशा प्राणदा प्राणरूपिणी मार्तांडभैरवाराध्या मंत्रिणी न्यस्तराज्यधूः त्रिपुरेशी जयत्सेना निस्त्रैगुण्या परापरा सत्यज्ञानानंदरूपा सामरस्य परायणा कपर्दिनी कलामाला कामधुक्कामरूपिणी कलानिधिः काव्यकला रसज्ञा रससेवधिः पुष्टा पुरातना पूज्या पुष्करा पुष्करेक्षणा परंज्योतिः परंधामा परमाणुः परात्परा पाशहस्ता पाशहंत्री परमंत्र विभेदिनी मूर्ता मूर्ता नित्यतृप्ता मुनिमानसहंसिका सत्यव्रता सत्यरूपा सर्वांतर्यामिनी सती ब्रह्माणी ब्रह्मजननी बहुरूपा बुधार्चिता प्रसवित्री प्रचंडाज्ञा प्रतिष्ठा प्रकटाकृतिः प्राणेश्वरी प्राणदात्री पंचाशत्पीठरूपिणी विशृंखला विविक्तस्था वीरमाता वियत्प्रसूः मुकुंदा मुक्तिनिलया मूलविग्रहरूपिणी भावज्ञा भवरोगग्नि भवचक्रप्रवर्तिनी छन्दस्सारा शास्त्रसारा मंत्रसारा तलोदरी उदारकीर्तिरुद्दाम वैभवावरणरूपिणी जन्म मृत्युजरातप्त जन विश्रांतिदायिनी सर्वोपनिषदुद्घुष्टा शान्त्यतीता कलात्मिका गंभीरागगणान्तस्था गर्विता गानलोलुपा कल्पनारहिता काष्ठा कांता कांतार्धविग्रहा कार्यकारण निर्मुक्ता कामकेली तरंगिता कनत कनकताटंक लीला विग्रहधारिणी अजाक्षय विनिर्मुक्ता मुग्धा क्षिप्रप्रसादिनी अंतर्मुख समाराध्या बहिर्मुख सुदुर्लभा त्रयी त्रिवर्ग निलया त्रिस्त्रा त्रिपुरमालिनी निरामया निरालंबा स्वात्मा रामा सुधाश्रुतिः संसार पंक निर्मग्न समुद्धरण पंडिता यज्ञप्रिया यज्ञकर्त्री यजमान स्वरूपिणी धर्माधारा धनाध्यक्षा धनधान्य विवर्धिनी विप्रप्रिया विप्ररूपा विश्वभ्रमणकारिणी विश्वग्रासा विद्रुमाभा वैष्णवी विष्णुरूपिणी अयोनिर्योनिनिलया कूटस्थाकुलरूपिणी वीरगोष्ठी प्रिया वीरा नैष्कर्म्यानादरूपिणी विज्ञानकलना कल्या विदग्धा बैन्दवासना तत्त्वाधिका तत्त्वमयी तत्त्वमर्थस्वरूपिणी सामगान प्रिया सौम्य सदाशिवकुटुंबिनी सव्यापसव्यमार्गस्था सर्वापद्विनिवारिणी स्वस्था स्वभाव मधुरा धीरा धीर समर्चिता चैतन्यार्घ्य समाराध्या चैतन्य कुसुम प्रिया सदोदिता सदातुष्टा तरुणादित्यपाटला दक्षिणा दक्षिणाराध्या दरस्मेरमुखाम्बुजा कौलिनी केवलानर्घ्य कैवल्यपददायिनी स्तोत्र प्रिया स्तुतिमती श्रुति संस्तुत वैभवा मनस्विनी मानवती महेशी मंगलाकृतिः विश्वमाता जगद्धात्री विशालाक्षी विरागिनी प्रगल्भा परमोदारा परामोदा मनोमयी व्योमकेशी विमानस्था वज्रिणी वामकेश्वरी पंचयज्ञप्रिया पंचप्रेतमंचादिशायिनी पंचमी पंचभूतेषु पंचसंख्योपचारिणी शाश्वती शाश्वतैश्वर्य शर्मदा शंभुमोहिनी धरा धरसुता धन्या धर्मिणी धर्मवर्धिनी लोकातीता गुणातीता सर्वातीता शमात्मिका बंधूक कुसुम प्रख्या बाला लीला विनोदिनी सुमंगली सुखकरी शुवेशाढ्या सुवासिनी सुवासिन्यर्चन प्रीता शोभना शुद्धमानसा बिंदुतर्पण संतुष्टा पूर्वजा त्रिपुरांबिका दशमुद्रा समाराध्या त्रिपुरा श्रीवशंकरी ज्ञानमुद्रा ज्ञानगम्या ज्ञानज्ञेयस्वरूपिणी योनिमुद्रा त्रिकंडेशी त्रिगुणा अंबा त्रिकोणगा अनघात्मुत चारित्र्य वांछिता अर्थप्रदायिनी अभ्यासातिशयज्ञाता षडध्वातीतरूपिणी अव्याजकरुणामूर्तिरज्ञानध्वान्तदीपिका आबालगोपविदिता सर्वानुल्लङ्घशासना श्रीचक्रराजनिलया श्रीमत्त्रिपुरसुन्दरी श्री शिवा शिवशक्त्यैकरूपिणी ललिताम्बिका एवं श्रीललितादेव्या नाम्नां साहस्रकं जगुः इति श्रीब्रह्माण्डपुराणे उत्तरखण्डे श्रीहयग्रीवागस्त्य संवादे श्रीललितासहस्रनामस्तोत्रकथनं सम्पूर्णम्. Give me a minute, I'll just be back. Hari Om, can you all hear me? Let us do the invocation of Bhagavatam and then begin. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Satchidanandarupaya Vishvotpatyadihetave Tapatraya Vinashaya श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः यं प्रव्रजन्तमनुपेतमपेतकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरहकातर आजुहाव पुत्रेति तन्मयतया तरवोऽभिनेदुः तं सर्वभूतहृदयं मुनिमानतोऽस्मि. ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतः चार्थेष्वभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयः यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि धर्मः प्रोज्झितकैतवोऽत्र परमः निर्मत्सराणां सतां वेद्यं वास्तवमत्र वस्तु शिवदं तापत्रयोन्मूलनम् श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परैरीश्वरः सद्यो हृद्यवरुध्यतेऽत्र कृतिभिः शुश्रूषुभिस्तक्षणात् निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं शुकमुखादमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसमालयं मुहुरहो रसिका भुवि भावुकाः मुहुरहो रसिका भुवि भावुकाः। एवं स्वायंभुवः पौत्रम् अनुशास्य मनुर्ध्रुवः ध्रुवं तेनाभिवन्दितः साकं ऋषिभिः स्वपुरं ययौ. So after Dhruva Maharaj went into a short span of Raudra mode, and in that Raudra mode, he, as a king, punishing the culprits was one part of it. But then, when it was uncontrolled and it went into the onslaught of innocents being impacted by his Raudra Rupa, then Swayambhu Manu, whose grandson is Dhruva, he himself came down and gave his clarity, gave his peace of mind for the peace of Dhruva. Having thus understood, he immediately withdrew from that yuddha. There was ceasefire declared and everybody walked away. So from there on, Maitreya Rishiji is speaking to who? Vidura Mahatma. And he says, Dhruvam nivrittam pratibuddhaya vaishasat. So Dhruva, his krodha became upashamana. Upashamana became quieted. And then he withdrew from killing of any further yaksha. Having thus learnt, tatragataha charana yaksha kinnaraihi samstuyamanaha. So dhaneshwaraha agataha. Dhaneshwaraha Kuberi. Now he is the charana yaksha kinnara kimpurusha. He is the adhipati. And he is also the Dhanadhyaksha. Dhanadhyaksha, the treasurer for the entire upper worlds. So he came. And Dhanada Uvacha. Dhanada Uvacha, the one who has the complete luxury of blessing anybody with dhana, resources, wealth specifically. So he says, Bho Kshatriya Dayada. Hey Uttama Kshatriya, Paritushtoshmi Tenagha. I am happy that you have withdrawn from killing this Yaksha, Charana, Kinnara, Kimpurusha, Ityadi. The innocent ones, those who have been to be punished, you have already punished. and the innocent should not have been impacted. But when you charged at them, mercilessly killing, you had enough humility to listen. See, mistakes we all make. One should be able to withdraw from that mistake and have the humility to accept what is done as wrong, and then take steps to withdraw from that which has been pointed as a mistake and take corrective measures. There, it should not be the ego or the adamant ego that which is holding on to that we seldom give up. The preparedness that also shows the samskara, where Dhruva was prepared to listen, Dhruva was prepared to change, Dhruva was prepared to withdraw from that indulgence, which was not right. So Kuberji says, I am parituštosmi tenagha. And because of that samskara, Dhanada, Kubera, is addressing Dhruva in spite of his mistake as Anagha. Anagha, the sinless one. So, again, going back to the same point, mistakes we all do commit. But to have the humility to accept it and the strength to change it and the stability to abide in it. That samskara bala is what Kubera is calling here as Anagha. The humility to accept, the strength to change, and the stability to abide in that higher. Otherwise, arrogance and adamancy will take us to the path of sin. You have stopped that. Therefore, you are Anagha. He continues. He says, in fact, your brother was killed because of Kala and Karma. Because of his own karma, which came back as Kala to forward the effect of his own karma. Now, these yaksha that were responsible for it was also Kala and Karma alone. You getting angry and hit the onslaught of it on the innocent, you are creating a newer layer of karma which is getting sucked into the Mayik Prapancha. So to withdraw, it takes a lot of courage, and you have shown that courage. In fact, he says in the 4th shloka, so many times this thought is repeated all across Bhagavatam, Ramayanam, Valmiki Ramayana, then Ramcharit Manasa, then Ananda Ramayana, then Adhyatma Ramayana, Yoga Vasishta. This thought is repeated multiple times in multiple scriptures in the most prominent way. Here, even Dhanada is telling the same concept in a most emphatic way. In the 4th shloka, he says, Aham tvam iti apartha. These two concepts, what are the two concepts? I, therefore mine, therefore everything else is not yet mine, which may be yours and you. See, in Ramcharitmanas also, Ramji, when asked by Lakshmana, he says, मैं और मोर तोरते माया, मैं और मेरा, तू और तेरा, यह माया का स्रोत है. This is the very source Srota, source. Even in the Gurudev's Arati, there it is Srota, but many people chant it as or sing it as Shrota. So when you chant Srota as Shrota, then you are close to Sota. तो सोते हुए गा रहे हो. Shrota means the one who has heard it. Srota means the one who has been where it is the source. So the source of all problems of Maya and the impact of it is from this aham, mama, tvam. Aham and mama, tvam and yours, these start from this aham only. Therefore, even in the after having given all the steps possible, the very comprehensive book Upadesha Sara, all comprehensive steps given in a very lucid, simple language, after everything is pointed, at the very last, the 30th shloka, Ravana Maharshi ji says, Ahamapetakam nijavibhanakam mahadidam tapo ramanavagiyam. There, some people object that he says drop the ahankara and then says Ramana Vak. It is this Ramana's Vak, Ramana's words. Is that not contradicting in itself? See, Ramana has a higher meaning other than representing that particular body in which that Mahatma was existing in. Ramana means that who is reveling in that which is being pointed at. The one who is reveling in that Atma Chaitanya, such one, from that standpoint, observe, be careful. This ahankara and winning over the ahankara is the greatest tapas. As a sadhaka, that is what should be observed. That is what should be witnessed. That is what should be corrected in all humility at every single step of our life. Investigate, then introspect, then that which has to be negated, that has to be mercilessly, without any attachment, negated. Gurudev says this in self-unfoldment. He says it in Art of Man-Making also. And then understand one's own nature and abide in it. But that step where negation has to happen, hey Dhruva, you have shown a very good, deep understanding and humility. With all humility, you withdrew. In fact, this whole prapancha, it is like mithyavat only. And only because of this ahankara tadatmyata, we get identified with that which is not real, meaning that which is just mere a projection as real, and give too much of validity to this ahankara of our own. So he says, see, this is the beauty, this is the greatness, that after having almost scolded Dhruva again, second time around, both Manu as well as Swayambhu Manu and Dhanada, Kubera, what are they saying? They're saying, Bhagavat Sharanagati is the only way to grow out of this ahankara tadatmyata. What is the upasana bala? Upasana bala is to grow out of the bodily attachment and the wrong identity of this ahankara to be weakened out and flushed for good. So he says, तद्गच्छध्रुवभद्रन्ते भगवन्तम् अधोक्षजम् सर्वभूतात्मभावेन सर्वभूतात्मविग्रहम् भजस्व भजनीयाङ्घ्रिम् अभवाय भवच्छिदम् युक्तं विरहितं शक्त्या गुणमय्या आत्ममायया. Hey, therefore, tadgacha dhruva bhadrante, that is called bhadra. When in the Upanishadic mantra, the Shanti mantra, when it is said bhadrang karnebhi shrunuyama devaha bhadram pashyemakshabhiryayatraha. So when that word bhadra is used, even in Ma Kali's name, it is called Bhadra Kali. Why is that Bhadra being used? Bhadra means that which takes us closest to Bhagavan, our Atma Chaitanya Tattva, that alone is Bhadra. Anything else, tad vyatiriktam sarvam vrutha eva, abhadram eva. Anything other than that has to be understood as abhadra only. Now we keep listening to this, but we seldom put this into practice, because as soon as the satsang is over, the book is closed, the pen is put aside, the ego is like, chalo, aaj ka kota khatam, spirituality done. Ab khudo, now jump into our wrestling into this samsara. मैं बड़ा कि तू बड़ा कि तू बड़ा कि मैं बड़ा. You are big, I am big, let's compare, compete, confuse, constantly. We say that, the drug addicts, it is such a huge problem that there should be an institution where they can be given a rehabilitation, and in that rehabilitative process they have 9 steps, and one of the 9 steps is spirituality. So when we take that seriously, alcohol or drugs or any one of these addictions, I think being addicted to being this identity called ego is the greatest addiction. Iska rehabilitation is to dilute it and flush it away for good. That is called sadhana. अब कितने लोगों के पल्ले पड़ता है, कितना सीरियस कौन लेता है, it depends on how mature we are and how intensely that mumukshuta, that is very important. अब देखिए, what is mumukshuta? गाड़ी है, best of the vehicles, good mileage, good interior, good exterior. It is almost like a tank. It's safe. All the machine parts with the precision tools it has been assembled. Rolls Royce ka baap. Best, better than the best. But एक ही लोची है उसमें. The piston that changes gas into combustible energy, that piston is missing. समझ रहे? सब कुछ है. Then it is nothing but alankara pushti. अलंकार पुष्टि, माथे पे विभूति है, माथे पे कुमकुम है, चंदन है, क्या कहते हैं वो, रुद्राक्ष मालाएं हैं, जटा वटा भी बना के रखा है या मुंडन कर लिया, जैसे भी हो, सब कुछ है, एवरीथिंग इज देयर। काषायाम्बर बहुकृत वेशः पश्यन्नपि च न पश्यति मूढ़ः युदर निमित्तं बहुकृत वेशः। इट्स जस्ट अलंकार वेश मात्र। That piston has to be bursting out with the heat. And what is the heat under a sadhaka? It is mumukshutva, mumukshutvam. If that heat is not there, everything else is thanda thanda. That heat must be there. Ki, why am I pursuing this? Why is it that necessary, important, urgent? So here he very clearly says, Tad gacha dhruva bhadrante. This is the most auspicious one, and you have seen that Bhagavan and you are counted as one of the greatest bhaktas. You got caught. You got caught in this web. Now, when you step back and reanalyze this whole thing, as a child, we were more focused. We listened better. We applied better. We soaked in a lot. We are like Dhruva. कहते हैं ना, बच्चों के आंखों में भगवान दिखता है, closest to भगवान, such purity in comparison to us. हाँ, थोड़ा बहुत नौटंकी वो भी करते हैं, but it is not as much that we do. From that, in a sense, we get through, whether it is nature, nurture, samskara, all of them put together, we become this solidified, uncrackable, rusted ego. कहते हैं ना कि गुरु को भी शेंडी लगाते हैं, ऐसे बन गए हम लोग. What is there to learn from Dhruva here? When Kuberji, he gives this direction, Dhruva immediately prostrates at his feet and said, no better advice than this. I think it is my ahobhagya that every turning point of my life when I had to be guided, I had my mother and Naradji in the first phase. Now again, Swayambhu Manu himself and you yourself have come. What else more can I ask for? Looking at that humility, immediately Dhanada, Kubera, he feels compelled to give, see, wherever jahan sar jhukta hai na, where the head bends down in humility, that is where many things that which magically we don't happen automatically starts happening. He feels compelled to give him a boon. He says in the last shloka, Vranihi kamam nrupayan manogatam. Ask for a boon, O dear Dhruva. So, Maitreya Vacha. Maitreyaji now narrates what happened then. स राजराजेन वरया चोदितः ध्रुवो महाभागवतो महामतिः हरौ स वव्रे अचलितां स्मृतिं यया तरत्यन्नेन दुरत्ययं तमः. He says, Dhruva got up and he says, if you have to give me a boon, then give me that may my antakarana, so beautiful, vavre achalitam smritim. May my antakarana have akhanda smriti of Bhagavan Shri Hari. Meaning, may I remember, may my antakarana consistently remember Bhagavan. जो बच्चों को सिखाते हैं ना, खाते भी राम कहो, सोते भी राम कहो, चलते भी राम कहो, राम 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 राम. सेम कॉन्सेप्ट. पर हम लोग ना, इंस्टेड ऑफ राम राम राम, हमारे यहाँ ड्रामा 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 ड्रामा. इतना ड्रामेबाज है हम लोग, इतने ड्रामेबाज हैं, हर चीज का ड्रामा बना बैठते हैं. So he asked, I don't need anything else other than this one support, that may my antakarana constantly remember, repeat and abide in that namasmarana of Bhagavan, constant chintana of Bhagavan. Because this alone will take me across my own tamas. See, this whole story can be misinterpreted also. Remember, if person like Dhruva who had darshan of Bhagavan and still slipped into tamas, अरे भाई, अपुन का क्या चांसेस है? अपुन लोग कहाँ पे खड़े होंगे? अपुन का तो चांस ही नहीं है. We don't stand a chance. No. The actual way to interpret this would be, therefore, even having just the darshan of Bhagavan is not sufficient. कि हमको भगवान दिख के हम क्या बारे 30 मार खाने, तुरुंग खाने, कुछ नहीं है. Until that Atma Chaitanya is realized as my true nature, which is the very substratum of this entire Jagat. There are no shortcuts to it. तो भक्ति का कोई मीनिंग नहीं रहे? There is no meaning left in bhakti then? No, it is bhakti which is the only anchor. Remember always the first upakhyana that we started, the first 6 chapters from Padma Purana, Bhagavat Mahatmya. Bhakti is the mother. Jnana Vairagya are the children which she will take care. Yes, it is questionable if my bhakti has not yielded Jnana and Vairagya. That my bhakti itself is wrong. Somewhere I am making a mistake. Bhakti is the mother and her children, wherever, whichever heart that bhakti is invoked in, she comes along with the children, Jnana and Vairagya. That is where we have Kalyana. Uttama Kalyana. The greatest auspicious benefit. Tasya pritena manasa tam datvai datva aidavid tataha aidavidaha. ये आइडाविडा कौन है भाई? We have no idea about Aidavida. It almost sounds like, so Idavida, whose son is Kuber. So like Vasudeva's son becomes Vasudeva, Idavida's son becomes Aidavida. So this Aidavida gave this boon to him, blessed him, hugged him, and then Pashyato Antardhade. He also, as he was watching, he disappeared right then and there. Then he came back to his Puri. The rest of the story is as important as the story that we have heard so far. Why so? Because we do get good advice. After having gotten a good advice, how do we work our way to make sure that that which is the advice given and logically it makes sense? How do we reorganize our lifestyle so that that advice can be implemented? Without postponing it. Because what kills us or our opportunities is we are good at procrastinating. आज करे सो काल कर, काल करे सो परसों, इतनी भी क्या जल्दी है यारो, जब जीना है बरसों, क्या फर्क पड़ेगा, मैं तो ऐसी च रहूंगा. That is what kills us. See the rest of the story. What does he do? As soon as he went back to his Rajadhani, he immediately said, please organized in the Punya Kshetra, Yajnashala, where constant Nitya Aradhana, Archana, Puja of that Bhagavan can be established. So immediately he got into that routine. And as he began, he sought blessings of all the Rishi, Muni, Brahmana. Everybody were invited, seeking their blessings. He gave all of them Yathochita Satkara and then launched himself into that particular path. And because he had the Abhyasa at quite young an age, therefore, Baba, when you have your children, grandchildren, make sure that when they are young, they get into the groove of this habit of Namasmarana, sitting in front of that altar and spending at least 10-15 times along with you in that Namasankirtana. Their paths may go here and there in between, even to as tremendous torturous paths like killing people, but that samskara can still be reignited. Dhruva had already gone in rage, and such fellow dropped everything, came back, and that samskara was reignited. What happened as an effect? He could immediately get identified with the concept or with the idea that Brahmarpanam Brahmavihi Brahmagnau Brahmanahutam Brahmaiva Tena Gantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhina. That which is being offered, that unto who that is being offered, that dravya that is being offered, that into which it is being offered, all of this is that Yajnamaya Purusha, that Bhagavan alone, that Sri Hari alone. And with this bhava, he established himself in bhakti again. And after the entire anusthana that was done in a very sincere manner, he did the prayaschitta for all the folly that was committed in this life. He accounted for it, acknowledged it, and he did his prayaschitta. Thus, having purified himself, what did he do? He had by this time completed 36,000 years of rule on earth. This comes in the 13th shloka. Shat trimshat varsha sahasram shashasa. Shashasa, he ruled 36,000 years. He had already ruled. So what he decided, this Jitendriya Mahatma, don't get carried away whenever you hear Jitendra here. So Jitendra Dhruva, he called his son. His son's name was Utkala. So he called his son Utkala, did his Rajyabhisheka, and gave the entire responsibility to his son. Having thus understood, what standpoint was he giving it? Is it because the Mahatma said? Is it because it was compelled on him by the Shastra? Is it because? No, he clearly could see with his Shuddhantakarana, Manyamana idam vishwam maya rachitam atmani avidya rachita swapna gandharva nagaropamam. That all of this creation and the things that are in the creation, whether it is my kingdom, whether it is my own body, whether it is all these, Rani and the Putra, Mitra, Sena, the entire Koshagara, everything filled with, brimming with, all of this is only like Gandharva Nagari. Gandharva Nagari, बचपन में हम लोग खेला करते थे, टाइम पास होता था ये, especially in the villages away from the city. By 6:37 in those days, everything would go dark. By 7, eating also would have been finished. And I say eating, 30-40 of us sitting and eating. The fastest method, my grandmother was, she would take a big bowl, mix everything in that, each item in one big quantity, and all 30-40 of us would be circling and sitting, and each one would get one big round of it. And by the time, and she would keep narrating these stories. By 7 o'clock, everything is clean, and we take the chatai, charpai, jobi to the terrace, flat roof. And there, all the trees, everything else is dark, and you're sleeping there, and you're watching the clouds pass by. So somebody says, I see Ganesha riding a big mushika, and he's carrying a gada, and now the rest of them will start looking at those, and then oh yeah, I see. What are we watching? That is called Gandharva Nagari. Gandharva Nagari, the cloud formations. How real are those Nagaris? As much validity of reality to that much validity of reality to this, that which I am an integral part of. He understood it, and Vairagya was established. And then he left. He gave his entire kingdom. I mean, even in that, it is not like anyway, it is all Gandharva Nagari, and I just do whatever, I just quit. No, he did everything fulfilling his responsibility. It was nowhere, anywhere short. No short-circuiting the responsibilities. Just because you think you have become spiritual and you stop your responsibilities, you are being dumb. The responsibilities have to be done. He did the vidhi vidhana of the entire elaborate process of keeping his son, doing the entire Rajyabhisheka, in all grand honor, gave those responsibilities, took his wife's permission, several wives that he had, he took their permission and gave them suitable whatever was their needs, and then he walked away. Where did he go? He went straight to Badrik Ashram. So Badrik Ashram is where today Badrinath Dham is. That is where is Badrik Ashram, Naranarayana mountain. So he went there. There, that Sheetala Jala that was flowing, he bathed himself. After bathing himself in that cold water, freshening himself, he found a spot which was undisturbed by anybody and put his mat and other things that were required, and then he sat down there. First and foremost, see, this is the same steps that I keep telling you for sadhana. First is asana siddhi. So you sit in a comfortable posture where your posture doesn't become a nuisance for your sadhana. स्वामी जी, आपने ही बोला था सोते भी राम कहो, मैं शवासन में साधना करूं? अरे, we are experts in sleeping during satsang. See, there are people where they speak in monotone, and then so when Brahma came, they all did namaskar and they left, and then after that, and they did very monotone, very easy to fall asleep. मेरे लेक्चर में जब मैं चिल्ला चिल्ला के बोलता रहता हूँ, and you can sleep in my lectures, शवासन में क्या होगा? No, asana siddhi, in a good asana where it is not becoming an obstacle for the rest of the sadhana. Then what did he do? Pranayama. This comes in the 17th shloka. Tasyam vishuddhikaranam shivavaha vigahya badhvasanam jitasanam. So he sat in that jitasana. Jita marut manasa ahritakshaha. Jita marut is another name for pranayama. Marut means air. Jita marut, the one who has now accomplished full control on that air. So pranayama he did. And after that, he sat down and visualized right in his own heart that Virata Rupa of Bhagavan. Remember, we had done the Virata Upasana where almost a canto ago. So go back to those videos to watch it. So that Virat Upasana where everything is seen in that one form. It's all in one. Not a 2-in-1, not a 3-in-1, not a multi-in-1. It's all in one. That Virata Rupa he established in his heart in such intensity that he offered that there was no more difference between dhyana, dhyatra, dheya, bheda. And now people tell me that Bhagavata is Dvaita Vishishtadvaita Grantha. Dhyana, Dhyatra, Dheya, Bheda Rahita Upasana, where he became one with by dropping this identity here. Talking about that Advaita Nishtha alone. This comes in the 17th shloka. Dhyayam tad avyavahito vyasrajat samadhau. Thus he went into samadhi, becoming one with that Virata Purusha. Then he even transcended that Virata Purusha Upasana. And in that Bhagavan Sri Hari, his just Nama Matra was sufficient. Nama Matra was sufficient, wherein thinking of Bhagavan, his eyes would swell up with tears. His throat would choke. His hair would stand on end. And he would, like a mad person, remembering a son or a wife or a husband, calling their names, he would be calling the name of Bhagavan. And he would be completely lost in that, wherein there was no more abhimana with respect to the body that he was in. There was no more abhimana to even the fact that he was Dhruva. He had forgotten all of that. There's only one thing that he remembered was Bhagavan, 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 Bhagavan. So as he was now established in that, and in that romancha, he had completely merged. Then, after several continuous tapas done for days at end, suddenly one day, Sadadarsha Vimanagryam Nabhaso Avatara Dhruvaha. Suddenly there was this beautiful, radiant, glowing, soft glow, just like a moon had descended on earth. That beautiful Vimana. तो ये मत बोलो कि ये विमान टेक्नोलॉजी, एयरक्राफ्ट टेक्नोलॉजी अभी आया है. Bhagavan Vedavyas ji has written these Ashtadasha Purana at least 5,150 years ago. मिनिमम से मिनिमम. उससे पहले विमान की टेक्नोलॉजी की बात कर रहे हैं. अवतरत, it landed. It did not crash. It landed. And the Vimana was most spectacularly glowing as the doors of that Vimana opened. Two beautiful looking, just like as though they were Bhagavan Sri Hari himself. Two Parshadas, Vishnu Parshadas, Nanda and Sunanda, appeared. They also had, their skin was light bluish in color. They were also wearing पीताम्बर. ये समझो कि वैकुंठ का ये यूनिफॉर्म है. And their faces were also radiating the glow of Bhagavan. So as soon as Dhruva saw them all, he immediately, whatever puja or krama that he was doing, he stopped that. And you're thinking of Bhagavan and somebody who is close to that Bhagavan has appeared, you are just excited. Close to Bhagavan is not like हमने भी भगवान को देखा था, नहीं. It is Bhagavan himself who has sent these people. That close these Parshadas are. Excited, he just did Vandana of those two Parshadas, and he did Shashtanga Dandavat Pranam. Then the Nanda Sunanda, Sunandananda Uchatuhu, it's not Uach anymore. It is dual case, Uchatuhu. भो भो राजन् सुभद्रन्ते वाचं नो वहिता शृणु यः पंचवर्षस्तपसा भवान् देवमति त्रुपत. Bhagavan, hey Rajan, you have already seen that Bhagavan Sri Hari, we are his Parshadas, that who you had seen when you are 5 years old, now 36,000 years later, that Sri Hari is now compelled with your tapas, because you have done such amazing tapas in soaking yourself into this and finding that Virata Purusha, transcending that Virata Purusha, merging yourself into that, not just diluting your ego, but you have given up your ego and you have merged into that oneness. Now Bhagavan has sent us to take you to that Uttama Sthiti, which is not even the Devas can attain, even the Sapta Rishis cannot attain it. You will be on that Dhruva Pada where it is beyond even the Sapta Rishis to reach, where from they can only see you, but not even attain to that. That Sthiti Bhagavan has for you. And because it is a unique position, no one else, na bhuto na bhavishyati, no one else in the past nor in the future can ever attain to it. Bhagavan has named that Sthiti, that Uttama Pada, as Dhruva Pada. When you see the Dhruva Nakshatra, the Sapta Rishi Mandala that you see, it is above that. So that is how you decipher which direction is Uttara. Uttara means what? Uttarati. Seeing that Dhruva, finding the inspiration to constantly, consistently grow higher and higher and never stop until you reach to the highest. That is the pointer, Uttara Dishayam Dhruva Padam. That has been given to you. We are here to take you. So Maitreya Rishiji continues, he says, after having attained this confirmation, Dhruvaji said, may I just finish what I was in middle of? And asked them to wait, finished his puja patha, krama was done. Then he quickly went to all the Rishi Muni Gana that were there, did Sashtanga Namaskar to all of them, took their blessings, did the Pradakshina of this Vimana and the Parshadas, did one Sashtanga Namaskara to them. As he approached the Vimana, a very significant thing happens. Kala Swarupa Yama himself appeared. What? Now? Why? To bend down so that Dhruva can climb over him into that, a very significant thing, that even Kala Swarupa Yama himself is transcended, Mrityu is transcended, Amaratvam is attained. Now, thus having reached there, even in that, as he sat down, his mind went into a thanking mode to everybody that were there in his life that made sure that he attained to this. And the first thought that came was his of mother, Suniti. And he was like, oh, my mother, wish she was also blessed because of who I have been blessed this. So Parshada smiled and said, Bhagwan Sri Hari knows your heart, and would Bhagwan Sri Hari knows that you would have this thought, therefore your mother is in that chariot right in front of us. Don't worry about her. Even she is going to Vaikuntha. So Bhagwan, being blessed by Bhagwan, this Dhruva reached to the highest. Now this whole episode of Dhruva Charitra, Naradji was so moved. Mahimanam vilokyasya narado bhagavan rishihi atodyam vitudan shlokan. So even Naradji just burst out with 3 shlokas with Dhruva Charitra. So 3 shlokas, he sung the entire Dhruva Charitra from the time that he was born to Uttanapada to become the synonym of that Uttamapada, which is Dhruva Padam, he attained. So here Maitreya says, those who can read this particular episode, 9th chapter to the 12th chapter, 4 chapters, Sayankalam Pratidinam, every day, Sayam cha punya shlokasya Dhruvacharitam Mahat, 48th shloka. This Dhruvacharita, if we all can chant daily and repeat it so that we remember, don't do it just as like, Shri Guru Charan Sarvajani Kusa Ari Varana Raghuvar Jodayak Balchari Uddin Jani ke Sumara Bhavan Kumar Bal Mudhyanya. It's like, kya kar kya rahe ho? No, we have to do 108 times Hanuman Chalisa, therefore it becomes just a count, it becomes just a mundane affair. Now understand the story, understand the charita, understand the bhava that is given there. Such ones will be blessed with Shraddha, Bhakti, Jnana, Vairagya, and the Uttama Padam, which is Moksha Padam, will be blessed if you chant these 4 chapters. Thus, Dhruvakhyanam comes to an end. Now, after Dhruva, Utkala and the rest of the family, what happened, that we see in the next chapter onwards, which is the 13th chapter. Dhruva Vamsha Varnana. That we will see next week. We'll stop here. I'll quickly call upon Susmama. Hari Om.
हरि ओम स्वामी जी। श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मनु मुकुर सुधारी, बरनौ रघुबर बिमल जसु चोदायक फलचारी। बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरौ पवन कुमार, बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेस विकार। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर, जय कपीस तिहु लोक उजागर। नयन कुंडल कुंचित केसा, हाथ ब्रज और ध्वजा बिराजे। कांधे मूंज जनेऊ साजे, शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन। तेज प्रताप महाजगबंदन, विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर। राम काज करिबे को आतुर, प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया। राम लखन सीता मन बसिया, सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा। विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा, भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे। रामचंद्र के काज सवारे, लाए सजीवन लखन जियाए। श्री रघुबीर हर्षि उर लाए, रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बढ़ाई। तुम मम प्रिय भरतहि सम भाई, सहस बदन तुमरो जस गावे। अस कह श्रीपति कंठ लगावे, सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा। नारद सारद सहित अहिसा, जम कुबेर दिक्पाल जहाते। कवि कोविद कह सकै कहाते, तुम उपकार सुग्रीवहि कीन्हा। राम मिलाय राजपद दीना, तुमरो मंत्र विभीषण माना। लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना, जुग सहस्त्र जो जन पर भानु। लीलो ताहि मधुर फल जानु, प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माहि। जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाहि, दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते, सुगम अनुग्रह तुमरे तेते। राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे, होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे। सब सुख लहै तुम्हारी सरना, तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना। आपन तेज समारो आप, तीनों लोक हाकते कापे। भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे, महावीर जब नाम सुनावे। नासे रोग हरे सब पीरा, जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा। संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावे, मन क्रम बचन ध्यान जो लावे। सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा, तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा। और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे, सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे। चारों जुग परताप तुम्हारा, है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा। साधु संत के तुम रखवारे, असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे। अष्ट सिद्धि नव निधि के दाता, असबर दीन जानकी माता। राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा, सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा। तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावे, जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे। अंत काल रघुवर पुर जाई, जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई। और देवता चित्तन धरई, हनुमत से ई सर्व सुख करई। संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा, जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई। जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई, छूटहि बंदी महासुख होई। जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा, होय सिद्धि साखी गौरीसा। तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा, की जय नाथ हृदय महडेरा। की जय नाथ हृदय महडेरा। पवन तनय संकट हरन मंगल मूर्ति रूप, राम लखन सीता सहित हृदय बसौ सुरभूप। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। उमापति महादेव की जय, बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय। सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय।
Thank you so much, Amma.
यू वेलकम।
ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। असतो मा सद्गमय, तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय, मृत्योर्मा अमृतङ्गमय। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते, पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ। Thank you all. We will meet again next satsang. Until then, be healthy, be safe, be strong in your